What's going on YouTube? Cloverbuzz here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Houndstone. Yes, that's right, we're spotlighting Houndstone today, and it's starting to rise in the Series 2 meta, and for good reason. But more specifically, not just Houndstone itself, but Houndstone and Tyranitar. Now, this is a sand duo, of course, and within Series 1, you kind of saw the rise of like Lycanroc Tyranitar. That was also an interesting duo, but now all of a sudden it's Houndstone that's taken that Lycanroc place. And for a good reason. It has an interesting toolkit. It's been rising in some tournament play, and we have some of those tournament results to show you, just to see what some of these other players are running. But in terms of like what these two can do, first of all, Tyranitar with the Assault Vest is doing really well in the meta right now. Just like the bulk that it has, it's really good into like Flutter Mane, Gholdengo stuff, and then the bundle, that alone just like merits a slot right there. And then from there, Houndstone just becomes like a super big time sweeper in the back, especially in the late game, thanks to this move called Last Respects, right? So every time a party member faints, you're just able to get a nice big damage boost, and you just become a pretty potent late game cleaner, right? So what we're gonna do is take a look at some of its potential move sets here, and then see if we can do like a little bit of a soft team building, just to see like what we would try and do. But we're not going to stray too much from the winning formula. I was just asked to do this, just because someone was interested in trying to use Houndstone, and I said, you know what, let me look into it. And then I saw that in certain tournaments it was rising, and I decided to like, oh, okay, you know what, let's cover it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of those teams and see what these players are running, right? So let's take a look. All right, so we're going to take a look at the first tournament here, and this one was on February 12th. This is a tournament from Terra Run, which is a Japanese online tournament, and it was won by Golden Flare. And if you take a look at the type of team that was used, again, it was the sand core of Houndstone and Tyranitar, but you have the Clover favorite trio of Talonflame, Gholdengo, and GreatTusk here. So I've been a big fan of this trio, which is why I built one of those teams around these three for the February formats. Then you just have the Iron Bundle just for like extra security purposes and just to round out the team. And congrats to Golden Flare. They were also kind enough to provide a rental team here, and also to give us the Pokepace here, which I'm going to show you on the screen. So pretty much very standard spreads. Like, we've used this Talonflame spread all the time. The bundle is a booster energy, Timid 252. Gholdengo, of course, has Life Orb bulk, which is relatively standard. It's just a pretty much standard GreatTusk here with 252 spread. And then the Tyranitar also hits the pump in the Adamant Nature, a little bit extra bulk. Nice 12 special defense for the Assault Vest balance, a little bit of speed, under Tailwind you're able to outspeed some of those threats. And then the Houndstone over here, same idea, you just outspeed everything, whether you have Sand Rush or even Tailwind, right? So it's a pretty cool team. I do also like the Terra Fairy option, that's really good against like dark types. If you want to go against Roaring Moon shenanigans, or even Brute Bonnet dark coverage, you can just switch to Fairy type Terra and then, just be able to resist those attacks. So this was a cool team, all right? And then if we go into the Battle Fortress, which is pretty much another tournament, you can also see more or less a similar kind of concept here with Houndstone Tyranitar. This time the water option was Gyarados instead of the Iron Bundle. And again, we covered Gyarados recently on the channel, so this is also another cool way to try and use Gyarados with Waterfall, Terra Blast, Dragon Dance, Protect. Very standard Gyarados set. But Houndstone here again with Shadow Sneak, Last Respect, Will-O-Wisp, and Protect. So no Destiny Bond here, but it's a little bit more offensive with the spell tag. And then again, you still see the Assault Vest Tyranitar here just coming in with Terra Blast along with Terra type flying, whereas Golden Flare didn't really care for the Terra Blast, opted for the Steel move coverage anyway, just for the Flutter Mane Fairy matchup. But then you have Slytherin and Gothitelle. So again, another interesting team, but again a very successful team nonetheless, because it was able to top cut an online tour. So this kind of concept again with the Among Us also taking part here just to help out with the Trico matchup. And the Gothitelle is just able to trap stuff in here, whereas the Houndstone can just potentially sweep teams, especially in like endgame scenarios. Especially after like the Shadow Tag, able to trap things, and then Last Respect is just doing so much damage. All right. If we go into the Love This Special VGC tournament, there was another tournament where you also had Houndstone Tyranitar here within the top cut, and this one was the Dondozo Tatsugiri engine. So more or less the same idea, but the Houndstone was choice band here with Trick. So very interesting idea, but again, Assault Vest Tyranitar is here once again. The fire type option was not Slytherin, but instead Volcarona. All right, so there's an idea there. And then of course Flutter Mane over here with Booster Energy Mystical Fire set. I do like that, although I'm not sure about the Terra Ghost option. I kind of like Terra Fire over here, but that's a discussion for another day. But again, you can also see a Sand Core being used with Tatsugiri Dondozo. You also saw this with Lycanroc Rock Tyranitar back in Series 1. So I guess this is kind of taking the place over here. But again, another interesting way to try and use Tyranitar and Houndstone. Then we forward to the Castelia Challenge over here. And this may be my favorite of the four, where we have one run by Scotty, you know, really, really good VGC player overseas. And this one is almost the same as this Golden Flare team, but the main difference here, the main difference was the Amoonguss over the GreatTusk in general, right? And that's okay. That just helps you a little bit more with redirection support, and you're able to help set up your nasty plots. And then, you know, same idea with in terms of like Trick Room games, you can just bring in the Amoonguss Terra Dark. And you know the Indeedee Armor Root stuff tends to struggle a little bit against those dark types. So that's the idea there. You also have a little bit of coverage for the Dondozo because of Clear Smog. Now, yes, they can go Terra Steel, but you have ways to deal with that as well. But I kind of like this kind of makeup here with, you know, the Talonflame, the Gholdengo, and, you know, the bundle. You know, just the same way that Golden Flare was doing. You know, and then just your option with either like GreatTusk or Amoonguss is just relatively ideal, right? So it makes a lot of sense. So what we're gonna do now is, now that we have some of those interesting results, now what we can do is some soft team building where we can try and create something of our own, you know, to try and use Houndstone Tyranitar. But I won't stray too much from the winning formula. What we will do is actually we'll take Scotty's team. I don't think he's released a rental yet because I think the tournament it literally just finished. So that being said, we'll actually use Scotty's team here. You know, and we don't know his spreads, but what we can do is just like kind of make our own and just go for like certain benchmarks and just, you know, just create something relatively quick here. All right, so let's take a look at that. Okay, and again, here's the 6 that Scotty had. And again, the main difference with Scotty 6 and Golden Flame 6 is that there was a GreatTusk in the place of Amoonguss. Now, again, that just depends on the player, but I think either 6 is totally fine. All right. So here we go. With Houndstone, what else can we do here? We also have the power to Will-O-Wisp, and that's important, right? Because, you know, under Slush Rush or even under Tailwind, you have that fast Will-O-Wisp, so you can, you know, just neuter another physical attacker. You know, just go first, all right, and just go ahead and Will-O-Wisp them, right? So that's always really, really nice. And then from here, you have Shadow Sneak, just a good physical ghost move that can do a lot of damage with priority. You know, just in case you don't have the speed control, then Protector in the last slot just makes a lot of sense. And I've seen a couple of items here. You can even do, like, you could do what Scotty did and do like Clear Amulet here, so this way you don't get Intimidate spammed, or you can just opt for more damage and just go for like the spell tag over here. So because you're only really using your ghost move, so this is like the Life Orb without the recoil. So Houndstone is going to do a lot of damage here, right? And in terms of like an EV spread, you could just do something very general and just do this. You'll go Adamant here, and the speed tier that you can hit is just something like this, right? With 148 investment, okay? And what does this do? First of all, this will outspeed Dragapult, okay? Now, if you don't consider Dragapult relevant in the meta, then what you can do is at least drop it to about 103 or 104. What this will do is outspeed the Iron Bundle under Tailwind, right? Because if you look at the Iron Bundle, if this were to be a timid spread, which it will be, 206, you need 207 to beat it. So basically 103 plus 103 will give you 206. If you need 207, and again, just push it by 1 and then you outspeed it. And then from here, you can actually just make this super bulky or just go for all attacks like this. Here's the benchmark right here. And then just put the rest of your EVs like 156 over here. Just put 1 point here and 1 point here in the defense mark, and then the rest just goes into your HP stat like this, right? Or what you can do is make this even bulkier but less damage, right? Then just drop this to 154 and then just put 80 more EVs in the HP stat like this. Okay, you can also totally do this. Now, yes, you do have a spell tag, but sometimes you might even worry about like trying to pick up a KO. But again, this is meant to be like, you know, a super late game cleaner, you know, with last respects. So it's really up to you. Either you want pretty much all the attack but a little less HP, or less attack but more HP. Okay. Tyranitar, either way, you know, this thing is, you know, it's going Adamant nature. Okay, we're gonna do Terra Flying because we're gonna put Terra Blast on it. I think it just makes a lot of sense here. And then you could just do like Rock Slide Where is it? Rock Slide. Yep, there we go. Then you could do like Assurance or Crunch. I think Crunch is okay. Then you could do Low Kick. Get more coverage. We're good against Dark types. Good against Steel types, like even a Dondozo, for example. But yeah, this makes sense here. And then in terms of like a speed stat, I think the 180 mark, once again, is also pretty good. Now, you do have to watch out for your own Houndstone. So what you can do with your Tyranitar in this case, or at least with your Houndstone, is just drop this by 1 point like this and just make this 105. So this way you can outspeed your own Tyranitar. But then at this point, you might as well just hit the Dragon Pult benchmark, right? You know, even though you don't even consider it relevant. But at the very least, you should never try and speed tie your own mods because, you know, you always want to know who's going first. But anyway, under Tailwind, Tyranitar will outspeed the bundle, okay? So for the same reason as the Houndstone. But again, you can rely on either the Sand or the Tailwind support, right? So here for the Tyranitar, you can just go, again, third EV bump here in the attack stat. So I believe that's at 204, right? So here you go from 196 to 198. And again, if you don't know what an EV bump is or an EV benchmark, just comment in the video section. I talk about it all the time since Pokemon Sword and Shield. So if you ask, then I'm just gonna answer you in the comments, but ask, where have you been? Okay. And then from here, you can just put like 2 points in the special defense like this. So this way you get the best bang for your buck with your Assault Vest because multiplied by 1.5. You don't want to get a decimal because then it just rounds down. So putting an even number here will just bring it to an even number. And then you can just do something like this and bring the HP to 189. But if you don't want this much damage on your Tyranitar, if you prefer the extra bulk, then you can drop this to the second EV bump benchmark and then just put more HP into Tyranitar like this. And then, you know, you don't even have to follow the Assault Vest rule. You could break that rule and just go to 200 in terms of an HP stat. So I leave it up to you, the viewer. If you want more attack but a little less HP or more HP and a little less attack, again, totally up to you. It's fine either way. But if there's a certain calc you're looking for, definitely prioritize that. Talonflame, this thing is just straight up, you know, like Tailwind, you know, Brave Bird. Oops, the ability. Of course, that's going to be Gale Wings. Yeah, I took it out. But anyway, Tailwind. I put Lagging Tail here. Hold on. This is supposed to be the Covert Cloak. Okay, Tailwind, Brave Bird. You can even do like Tailwind, you know, Flare Blitz. Wow, I can't type. All right, then Will-O-Wisp and then Taunt. Okay, and then you could just do like a Terra Ghost. So, you know, again, you don't get faked out. You don't get smacked by Dragonite E-Speed, which is running around. And pretty much a very standard set here. You can just go Jolly, 252, 1 point in the attack, 1 point in the defense, 1 point in the special defense. You don't really need any of this. You're just trying to be like super bulky and just try and stay on the field for at least another turn, depending on how things go. The Gholdengo spread will be the Life Orb set that we've been using for pretty much the entirety of Series 2, as long as we have an Amoonguss. But this is how we've been playing Gholdengo, and I haven't had a problem yet. But either way, so we're going to go up to 28 investment once again. That'll get you to 108, so this will outspeed the Dragon Bolt stuff. Then from here, your first EV benchmark in the special attack. Then optimize the Life Orb by going to 189 here, because you always want to end in 9 when you have a Life Orb item. Then 76 defense. This will go for the Adamant 252 King Gambit. What's that called? Kowtow Cleave. You'll live that, and then just put the rest in special defense like this. Alright, Bundle is the easiest one. Bundle, of course, it's going to get a Sash here. You can put Booster Energy if you like. I leave it up to the viewer, but of course, Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump, Icy Wind, and then Protect. Okay, and if you really want more ideas or spreads with the Iron Bundle, just message me or sign up for a coaching session. Here's the Amoonguss. Again, this will just have the Mental Herb. You know, there's a lot of things running around with Taunt at the moment, so the Amoonguss as a Terra Dark option as well looks really, really good into that Trick Room matchup. Rage Powder, Spore, Clear Smog, and what's that other one? I forgot right off the bat. Oh, it's Pollen Puff, right? Yeah, there we go. Otherwise, I was just gonna slap on Protect. But either way, this looks pretty good so far. All right, the Amoonguss, again, just going to that HP stat of 236, optimize the Regenerator recovery. Then you can just go like Relax Nature. They're tired, we're all tired. You know, might as well just switch to Relax Nature right now and just take it easy. If only there were stats simple, right? But this specific calc will go for the Roaring Moon Acrobatics, and you will survive and live to tell the tale, which is always really, really good. And that's pretty much it, right? Notice how we just made this in like a couple minutes, but you know, the schematic makes a lot of sense. You have Houndstone Tyranitar, Talonflame, Gholdengo, Amoonguss, and then could have had GreatTusk, or you could have had Garchomp. Either way, I think it was okay because like Garchomp, Talonflame, and Gholdengo was a trio for a while, and I think it still is. And we'll probably do a video on that one at some point. But just know that that trio is still not dead. Okay. But anyway, in terms of like what the Houndstone is supposed to do, again, just with like a late game cleaner with last respects, you get a big bonus when an ally falls. So that's what you got going for you, and then you're just going for like priority moves just in case you can't quite get a KO, or if you get things super low but then just can't finish it off. Tyranitar is just meant there to, you know, go for Sand Chip, you know, to apply it pretty much, and then just sit there in front of the Tricker matchup and click Crunch and Rock Slide, you know, and then the what's it called? The Gholdengo doesn't really get affected by certain conditions either. So that backfires against them. Probably should have just paid us. We probably would have been worse than a computer, but who knows? But then from there, it was just easy pickings because once he went up there, then you could just trap him. All right. But anyway, other than that, yeah, I mean, Houndstone looks pretty good here in terms of like what we're supposed to do with this kind of team. So hopefully you like it, and hopefully, you know, at some point, maybe even Scotty releases a team, so then we can use his EV spreads instead of using mine. But this is just a very general spread. Yeah, I mean, if you're excited to use Houndstone, definitely give this one a go. I can't really make a rental code. I don't have any space. But if someone wants to make it, or if Scotty releases his rental, then that's good enough, I guess. All right. But yeah, if you want to give it a go, here it is. We'll be back with another video in the next one, guys. Peace out, and have a good one.